Today's video is all about the French fry, which I would argue is the touchstone of great cooking because it takes something as cheap and readily available as the potato and turns it into what is arguably the world's favorite food. The top of that list is notably not $150 an ounce caviar or Wagyu beef or truffles, but the humble French fry, and it's for good reason. French fries are texturally perfect, as well as being an incredible vehicle for sauces. And the basic French fry is actually extremely easy to cook, which is what we're gonna start off with before diving into a slightly more complicated fry that does lead to a superior product, but involves an extra step, before finishing on a strong oven fry technique that I discovered while making this video. And I have a few videos in the works that involve deep frying, so I also want this to serve as a sort of deep frying 101 for those of you that haven't dug into this style of cooking. At its core, French fries are a two-step frying technique. The two refers to the fact that French fries are fried twice at two different temperatures. First at a lower temperature in order to soften the fry entirely, and then at a higher temperature to create that delicious golden brown crispy exterior. I started with a russet potato that I peeled, trimmed to about a finger length, cut into planks, and then into fry shapes. Peeling is optional, and the shape can be as perfect or as imperfect as you want. More on that in a moment. Inside of this potato are pores that are filled with free starch molecules, which, if they stay in the potato, will lead to a flatter and much less satisfying texture. So I put these into a container and ran cold water over them until the water ran clear. Then I dried them off with a towel and put them into a pot of 275-degree peanut oil. There is a wide range of correct oil temperatures for this step. Anything that stays above the boiling point of water, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit where I'm located, and below the temperature where the browning reactions start to occur rapidly, which is around 280 degrees Fahrenheit, is fine. I start at the higher end to make up for the oil cooling down when the fries go in. And I cook them for about 12 minutes. This is arguably the most important part of the process that can lead to the difference between a passable French fry and one that might change your life. You want to cook these for a good long while to dry them out somewhat. The best way is to pay attention to the bubbles. Once they start to diminish substantially, you might even start to see some very light browning on the potato. That's when I take the fries out and leave them on a wire rack to cool down. These par-cooked fries are ready to be stored, so feel free to throw them into a container and keep them for a number of days in your fridge. Once you're ready to finish them, heat your pot of oil to anything north of 350 degrees Fahrenheit and dunk your fries to crispy exterior. Whenever you deep fry anything, you want to drain it on a paper towel and immediately season it with salt. And that's it, the classic French fry technique. And it is a killer, but there is a better fry. Before we jump into that, we're going to cover the basics of setting up a deep fryer at home, because while deep frying is completely safe when done correctly, there are endless videos of turkey fryer explosions, which come from moisture being introduced to hot oil, which then boils over the sides of the pot, and the oil being flammable then lights on fire. So when you're setting up a deep fry station at home, make sure to only fill the pot between half and 2/3 of the way full, never more. I like to use this thick cast iron Dutch oven because it retains a lot of heat, but any pot will work. As far as oils to use, anything with a high smoke point works. I personally use peanut oil. When it comes to frying potatoes, there are 1, 2, and even 3 step frying techniques. And those numbers basically correlate to the number of textures in the finished potato. 1 step fried potatoes are going to just have a crispy texture, like the potato chip. 2 will have 2 textures, crispy and fluffy, like the French fry, and 3 step will have crispy, fluffy, and a hollow interior. You may think, how can you improve on such a simple and delicious technique? And the French fry is near perfect, but we can use a chemical reaction called gelation to turn the exterior of the fry into what I like to think of as almost a batter that is then fried and creates an even better crunchy exterior. The frying is the same, but first bring a pot of water to a rolling boil, salt it heavily, and add the cut and rinsed potatoes. Set a timer for 7 minutes, then put the potatoes onto a wire rack or into a colander and let them cool down. Then it is the same 2-step fry, which leads to an even thicker layer of crispy golden brown deliciousness on the exterior. Some further optional improvements would be to add herbs at the very end of the deep frying. Chopped up parsley, whole thyme, tarragon, literally anything will work. The French fry is always this particular shape, but any cut of potato can still be the same or similar textural experience, so feel free to try the steak fry wedge cut or just chunks if that's easier. And this is a lot of oil to throw out, but the good news is deep frying oil can be reused a number of times. What I do is wait until the oil is cold and then run it through a clean towel or cheesecloth. And I have this old bottle of peanut oil that I keep around to store used oil in. After 5 or 6 goes, the oil will start to smell, at which point it's time to throw it away and use new oil. You'll also need to discard the oil if you ever fry fish in it. For those of you who love French fries but don't love the idea of dealing with a deep fryer, while I was working on this video, I decided to try and perfect an oven fry technique. And looking through the various reactions that you need to happen in order to create an acceptable French fry, I realized that if you cut and rinse and dry the potatoes like we've been doing, and then put them onto a sheet tray with some neutral oil, put them into a cold oven, and then turn the oven to 400 degrees, convection preferred, and then cook them for 30 minutes or so, flipping halfway through, you will keep the temperatures more in line with what you actually want and end up with a pretty convincing oven fry. Because of the lower temperatures, I like to press some of the extra fat of any oven fries. But anyway, that's all for me on this one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.